Signal episode 13, we explored the sector compass. How to balance your equity exposure between growth, defensives, and diversifiers, and what that means for your long term equity portfolio. In Signal episode 14, let's understand how liquidity from two powerful forces quietly shapes every market move: foreign institutional investors and domestic institutional investors. Who are they? Why are they important? And how do they influence markets' direction? Let's decode how these two flows push, pull, and balance India's market rhythm. Welcome back to Signal, where noisy markets meet simple, sharp, and sound insights for long term investors. The Sensex closed at about 83,216 points, down by about 742 points from last week's close. The Nifty closed at about 25,492 points, down by about 228 points from last week's close. Markets were influenced by global yield pressure, profit booking, and caution ahead of the US Fed policy review. Financials showed resilience through the week, while small and mid caps saw mild weakness as investors rotated profits towards large caps. Foreign institutional investors turned from being sellers to buyers towards the end of the week, while domestic institutional investors continued to remain steady net buyers, showing how domestic liquidity continues to anchor India's market stability. The rupee ended near 88.7 per US dollar, reflecting a firm greenback and steady crude prices. Overall, a week of extended consolidation where early weakness was driven by global cues that gradually found support from domestic investors, underscoring a strong underlying resilience. Every single day, crores of rupees move in and out of India's markets, not just because of earnings and data, but also because of who's buying and who's selling. Let's start with foreign institutional investors, or FIIs. They are large global investors like pension fund, sovereign wealth funds, insurance pools, hedge funds, and international asset managers who invest across various countries seeking better returns and diversification. Their decisions are influenced by global cues, especially US interest rates, bond yields, inflation data, strength of the dollar. All of this shape how capital moves across global markets. When global yields rise or risk appetite falls, FIIs tend to pull money out of emerging markets like India. When global conditions stabilize or India's growth story regains momentum, those flows return, reigniting market confidence. In contrast, domestic institutional investors, or DIIs, represent India's internal or domestic financial strength. Mutual funds, insurance companies, pension funds, and retail SIP investors. Their capital is homegrown, built from savings, premiums, and monthly investments. Together, they create market's natural balance. When FIIs exit, DIIs often step in to absorb the supply. And when FIIs return, DIIs use that as an opportunity to take profits. The markets breathe through these flows. FIIs inhale, DIIs exhale, and between them, the heartbeat of liquidity keeps pumping. It's a quiet but powerful coordination, the ebb and flow that keeps liquidity alive. In the 1990s, India's market almost entirely depended on foreign investments. Every FII inflow made headlines as domestic institutions were negligible. The 2000s brought mutual funds and insurance savings into the mainstream. By the 2010s, SIPs had become a household discipline, turning investing into a monthly ritual. And today, with SIPs crossing 28,000 crore, the balance has clearly and firmly shifted. India now stands on its own liquidity base, even when foreign money moves out. Now that's the real story. From dependence on foreign flows to self-sustenance. Markets rise today not only when the world believes in India, but also when Indians believe in India. And that brings us to our quote of the week from Ray Dalio, founder of Bridgewater Associates, one of the world's largest hedge funds. Liquidity is like oxygen. You don't notice it until it's gone. And that's exactly what the market's rhythm is built on. When FIIs and DIIs move in harmony, liquidity flows freely and confidence stays alive. But when either side pulls back sharply, the market feels the strain. Prices slip, sentiment softens, and volatility stirs. The lesson is simple. It's not just the valuations or earnings that sustains the market. It's the flow of capital or liquidity that keeps them breathing. And that's precisely why understanding the push and pull of FIIs and DIIs matters just as much as understanding prices and profits. Next week, we'll begin a special series decoding India's 15 sectors one by one, their stories, their drivers, and how they fit your portfolio. So stay tuned. We are building a strong community of focused, far-sighted, and formidable long-term investors. If you're one of them, why not like and subscribe us and tell us in comments which flow you think drives India's markets more, FIIs or DIIs?